Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with designated drinker Fenton Bailey, the co-founder of World of Wonder. Now, if you've missed part 1, you want to go ahead and sashay back up to that bar and give it a listen because Fenton talks about the early stages of how he created World of Wonder, how he made it across the pond, and we had some really wonderful conversations that you don't want to miss out on. So go back to that and we'll save your seat right here. So Fenton, like I said, you shared the backstory behind World of Wonder and touched on RuPaul just a little bit, and that started that journey. So let's dive right in. I mean, from what you told me, it took 10 years. 10 years for RuPaul to make it to TV, is that correct?
Well, Ru was on TV. Ru's been on TV for a long time. He actually got his start on TV on a public access show out of Atlanta called The American Music Show. But when we started working with Ru, yes, we had the idea quite early on, quite soon after he released Supermodel. We were managing him, and so Supermodel was a big hit, his first single. And that's when the idea of Drag Race really sort of began to germinate. And it was actually more than 10 years. It was like almost 20 years from that point.
Wow. Until
Drag Race began in 2009. So
wow.
We knew early on that it was going to be a long time before executives at channels would think that drag belonged on TV. I mean, even though really drag and TV are like peanut butter and jelly, the TV always talks about the small screen and making a big impact and wanting characters that leap off the screen, and that's what drag queens do. And
exactly.
So to us, it was always a no-brainer, but we had to convince people. And funny enough, it wasn't so much convincing executives. As the show became more popular and as we started to launch internationally, I was trying to get the show launched in the UK for a number of years. And it wasn't until one executive was like, oh, my kids love that show. So it took them, they had to have kids and the kids had to grow up to turn their parents onto the fact that this would be a good show to do in the UK. So, it takes time, it takes a while.
That's true brand experience. You go for them young. You hook them young. Yep. That's amazing. I guess, and you're right, I meant to say how long it took you to get Drag Race going. Because from what I understand, a little bird told me that I'm supposed to ask you about how the hell did you end up with Elton John so early on in the game? How did you get RuPaul a part of that? Did Elton John just call you on a whim one day?
Oh, Elton, the thing about Elton is that he's actually, what you would call an early adopter. He's always got his eyes out for new talent and new things. And he's always been, in his career, incredibly generous in terms of sharing the spotlight. He does duets and records with all sorts of people, and that kind of sense of curiosity. I mean, it's really an unsung part of him. And so he reached out early on in like 93 or 94 and said he wanted Ru to cover Don't Go Breaking My Heart, his big duet with Kiki D from the 70s. And so they did. And it was great.
So when Elton John called you, did you like almost fall over? I mean, like if Elton John called me, I think I'd just like pass out on the floor.
Oh, Elton's just people are all the same ultimately. So no, not really. I mean, I'm a huge fan, of course, but I think I was more intimidated meeting Monica for the first time, actually.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Nope, I can't see that. I'd be more intimidated meeting Elton John. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I love everything about you. I need a drink, Fenton. I mean, I don't know. Do we have a drink?
Let's do it.
And then we talk and chat?
Yes,
Great.
Let's drink and chat.
It's a good thing we have a drinking podcast because it really hides the fact that we might need a cocktail or not. All right, and then we'll get into Fenton's.
We're going to talk about RuPaul.
Yeah. All right. More. So this is like a really fun and easy cocktail. I really like this love in the summertime. It's rooted in a margarita, except it houses a little bit of champagne. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take 2 ounces of your favorite tequila. In here I'm using I'm actually gonna use a mezcal. I'm using the Illegal Joven. 1 ounce of Cointreau. Please don't skimp, get the Cointreau. It's delicious. If you need to use a different kind of orange liqueur, just make it something that has cognac base because it does make a difference. You're going to use 1 ounce of lime juice. And then we're going to take the juice, the strawberries that we just showed you, two whole strawberries, which is roughly about an ounce of strawberry juice. And we're going to pour it all into our shaker tin, fill it 3/4 of the fill with ice. Don't worry, if you miss anything, go to designateddrinker.show and you'll get your tips, tricks, and how-tos.
Look at
So
you.
I'm going to shake it up now.
Such a beautiful sound. Gotta love it.
So the one thing you're going to do with this cocktail, which is a little bit different, is you're going to get yourself a fine mesh strainer. And don't worry if you don't know what that is. You can go to our Instagram and you'll be able to see it. So you're going to get a fine mesh strainer. You're going to pour it in there because you do have strawberry seeds. And this cocktail is quite lovely and beautiful. And the color is what my favorite thing about warmer weather is. You know, it's just the beauty and spoils of nature. So we're going to fill this about 3/4 of the way. And you're in a highball glass or a Collins glass, wherever you are. And you're going to top it off with just a bit of champagne.
Look how
if
pretty.
you like it a little bit sweeter, Prosecco is quite as lovely. And yes, we're pouring it over ice because it is a long, dry drink. So cheers, Fenton. Cheers. I'm going to give this to Louise. She's my official taste tester.
Cheers.
Fenton, I never know how the drinks are. They could be shit, and I would never know. I never touch the stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it looks delicious.
All right, I want to
it is
know
good.
what is happening
Really good.
in your liquid world. Go.
Oh, well, Drag Race has been on the air for 13 years, and we thought we would celebrate our 24 Emmys and what have you.
Wow.
By launching a line of premix cocktails, which is very, certainly takes the strain out of all that shaking you just did. Because all you got to do is pop a can. It's called House of Love. And there's it's cocktails and mocktails, different strengths. There's like a tangerine margarita, which is like, that's like 12%. That packs a kick. It really does. There's a watermelon vodka, a strawberry daiquiri. And if I do say so myself, they're absolutely delicious. And you can order them online. You just go to houseoflovecocktails.com. And you can order variety packs and party packs. And if I do say so myself, they're really good.
So it's a direct ship to consumer.
Yes, DTC, I think is what they say in the business. DTC.
Yeah.
I mean, in the biz.
I do have a complaint because Fenton didn't send them.
I know.
I thought we were friends, Fenton.
I know. Well, actually, there's a little bit of love in every can. And we just actually had, we were just at DragCon recently and we had a booth and oh my gosh, we sold so many cans. Like, because it's
so
thirsty
they were well
work.
received?
Very, very well received, yes. And of course, there's mocktails too. There's a sort of a lovely pina colada mocktail and there's also a ginger mule mocktail.
Nice.
Someone was drinking it and they said, God, this is strong. And I was like, well, actually, that's just a mocktail. so I guess there's like a...
You should just let them go because some of that's mind over matter.
Right.
You're like, ooh, that's a lot.
Right, exactly. I guess they were like feeling the love,
There you go.
And then, of course, the other great thing about the mocktails, you can always add a dash of something. You don't have to go all the way mocktail. You can turn it into a cocktail.
Actually, we've done that quite a few times on this show. We've had a few makers and producers of mocktails, and the first thing we do is we throw some spirit in them.
Yeah, but we do promote that you should drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly, Hanny, as we say. Drink responsibly.
Yes, especially when you're wearing 9-inch stilettos. You need to be careful,
That's
so you don't break
dangerous
your
work.
ankle.
Yeah.
I definitely will look out for those, and especially ready-made mixes are great for the warmer weather. If you're entertaining, I mean, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. I think you do that with, I think there might be a requirement that you drink with pinky up, though. I'm just saying.
Something fabulous.
A little fabulous. Oh.
The other thing I'll say about these cocktails is we also have merch, and that the branding is so delicious that it's like the can is like these stripes, lovely colored stripes in a heart shape. And so you can also buy, if you don't want the drink, you can buy the underwear. House of Love underwear, which is in the same pattern, and it's almost as good as the cocktail, I guess.
So, and if you have enough cocktails, you might be showing those House of Love underpants.
You'll just be stripping down to your pride undies and going in a parade. That's right.
You can all be all by yourself. a parade of one, but it'll do it with pride.
Do it with pride.
If you have enough of them, you'll be like out in the street and be like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, I was like, Fenton said so.
Yeah, Fenton said so.
You might have wanted to hit the gym before you did that, Gina. No. We're all into it. Big love right here. I'm into that. I also love that you're in that space. That's a fun space to be in, especially with the pre-made. It's such a big category growing in the U.S. So do you think that, so now that you're in that space, you're going to have like some of your drag, I'm sure some of your contestants on RuPaul's has definitely been bartenders. Are you going to have them on the show to make their cocktails?
Yes, absolutely.
Or they can win,
we have
or they can win a space in there. Sorry, canned cocktail.
Absolutely. The pit crew are always out and about in the House of Love undies, serving cocktails. Rue, there's a picture of Rue on every can. So Rue is our partner in this. And yes, there's just go to the Instagram House of Love cocktails, and you can see all the queens enjoying them.
That's awesome. And again, if our listeners didn't get that, it'll be on designateddrinker.show, and it'll also be in our episode notes. So as you're listening, just scroll down or scroll up, whichever phone you have, and we'll make sure that all those links are there so that you can easily get to this. Because, how much fun would that be?
Yes.
It's good times.
I think I'm going to do this just because I now need them. And then I'm going to Instagram you, Fenton.
Please
and be
do.
like, so here's all my drinks.
Yes, please.
Here's my underpants.
Yeah, we'll hook up Food Network and Fenton, and we'll be like, this is what we're doing now.
That's awesome. So, Fenton, tell us about the convention, the con. You kind of glazed over. Tell us how many people were there.
We just had Drag Con. With the pandemic, we haven't been able to do the in-person Drag Con. This was the 10th Drag Con, and it was like 3-day weekend at the LA Convention Center. We had 50,000 people came. And what was so great about it was seeing... It's so multi-generational. You see grandparents and parents, teenagers and kids. It's a real family event. And it's so great to, I think that's sort of how the whole idea of doing it began, was like, wouldn't it be great to bring the tribe together? The people who watch Drag Race, if they could sort of see each other and meet each other. And it was just very sort of a really lovely festive event.
That's great.
What's your favorite thing there was there to buy?
Well, that would be like, I love all the queens and all their merch, so I'm not going to go there. But we have a World of Wonder booth, and we sell a whole bunch of different merchandise. And RuPaul has a line of chocolate bars that are actually really good.
Yeah.
And he's just brought out a line. There's a charisma one. There's a uniqueness one. Nerve one and a talent one, and they're each different flavors. And they got like hazelnut and coffee and cinnamon and sea salt. My favorite of Rue's chocolate bars is a milk chocolate with a peanut butter filling with sea salt.
That
is so
right up my alley.
Good. It is disgustingly good.
I'm into that. Yeah. I love that. I wanna do this.
I know.
I feel like I would love to do that.
We should.
I do like chocolate, selling cocktails.
Yeah.
Like else.
I'll shake some cocktails for you.
So what's next? What's next, Fenton?
I think just sticking around, I think, is next. What's next? I've written a book actually called Screen Age that will be coming. It's called Screen Age: How TV Shaped Our Reality, from Tammy Faye to RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, that's awesome!
And it talks about how our lives are, spent in front of a screen or interacting with a screen, whether it's on Zoom calls or
Riverside doing
iPhones.
A podcast.
Yay! Or on our computers or iPhones. And you know what? It's an amazing thing. Really is a magical technology that has completely transformed our lives. And I think it's been especially good for voices excluded or hitherto unseen to
Unheard.
to appear and manifest. So,
awesome.
yeah, it's coming out in the fall, in November.
So I think...
Will you read it?
Will I read it? Well, I wrote it.
No,
so,
will you
I've-
read it to people? Like, will you be the voice?
see.
Will you do an
an
audiobook?
audible version?
Yeah, but I feel like yours
yes.
should be bigger than that. You should be like you, like in a chair, like you are now almost, like reading it so they can see you. I don't know. I feel like you have to have some version of
With
you.
dog in lap
Yes,
and
a dog in
cocktail
lap.
in hand.
Maybe, yes.
There you go.
And a
Okay,
captain.
I'll
And
do
a
it.
captain.
And a captain. Well, I'll be wearing my House of Love underwear. There
There you
you
go.
go.
I really feel like that would be very lovely. I mean, you have such a lovely voice, and like, you know,
that's sweet.
when you're watching your films and stuff, you don't hear your voice. You just you hear it as in like you know, like how the character sounds.
Also, people like that, they, you know, like, I mean, I think one of the great things also about this sort of technological revolution is, you know, when it comes to reading books, you don't have to read them anymore. You can, you know, put them on Audible and listen to them. And I think that's an amazing thing.
I think that's a
My
good idea.
8-year-old has told me that that's what she does. She's like, why should I read them? I'm like, because you need to learn how to read.
Yes.
It's like a
Well,
cheat
you know,
now.
reading is fundamental, as we say on
yes,
Drag
it
Race.
is.
So.
All right, this is it. This is the last one,
Okay.
Gina.
This is really hard, by the way, just in case you wanted to know, right?
Yes.
All right. So Fenton, in this day and age, everybody identifies themselves as some mythical, magical creature, and you might identify yourself, or with a spirit animal. You might identify yourself with a butterfly, and because you're in a chrysalis and you can evolve into something else. If you can identify yourself as an ingredient, whether it's in cooking or cocktails, what would that ingredient be and why?
Oh my God, I wasn't prepared for this question. Gee. Well, I'm going to have to go with my favorite thing. Marmite. I know it's divisive, love it or loathe it, Many people loathe it, but I love Marmite. I could, if I was on a desert island and I could only eat one food, it would be toast with butter and Marmite, and I eat it every day, and I grew up with Marmite. You know what Marmite is?
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm like, oh.
I love that you said that. Fenton, that's going to make the top of things that you'll be definitely in your own category, because nobody has said that to us. And how many episodes are we at now? 200 something.
220 plus.
Yeah, 220 episodes. Yeah, I love that. So that'll be it. Be like, eat your Marmite. I love it.
On that note, cheers, Fenton, to all of your success and all of the things that you do to change the world to make it a better place. Thank you for spending your time with us.
It's been a delight. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Cheers.
Chin chin. Bottoms up.
Especially in your underpants. The Designated Drinker Show is produced by Missing Link, a podcast media company that is dedicated to connecting people to intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Also in the Missing Link lineup of podcasts is Rodger That, a podcast dedicated to guiding you through the haze of dementia, led by skilled caregivers Bobbi and Mike Carducci. Now, if you're looking for a whole new way to enjoy the theater, check out Between Acts, an immersive audio theater podcast experience. Each episode takes you on a spellbinding journey through the works of newfound playwrights, from dramas to comedies and everything in between. Find Missing Link's League of Podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts. Please don't forget to subscribe, download, and review the shows. Your review helps our shows reach new audiences. To find out more about Missing Link, visit missinglink.company. That's missinglink.company.